I am live on IG. Hi, Denisha, you're on live too. Yeah. Okay. So we are streaming live on Facebook. Guys, those of you who are joining um, our stream with Dr. Rachel and Riley, we are actually on Facebook streaming live. So you can go to our pages um, and you can connect with us there. You won't be able to get us on IG. IG has not been cooperating with us today. So we are on Facebook Live. All right. So catch us on Facebook and come and be part of the fun. All right.
And it's been, a little challenging, but we found a way
Yep.
to get here. We have figured out a way to actually stream live. Um, Thank you so much, Simonique, for
You're welcome.
getting us here. Um, and so initially, we were supposed to I was supposed to interview or just have girl talk with Simone, but we are on her platform. But I will go ahead and introduce myself.
All right.
I am Rachel Riley. I am, or Coach Rachel, whichever one you feel most comfortable with. I am a mental health professional. I am a life coach and a best-selling author of the book, I Am Enough. I help single women. Of course, I have a passion for helping single women, but I help all women developing unstoppable resilience and unbreakable self esteem, especially after a traumatic experience. So that's a little bit of what I do. I got this idea on the 1st of January to have girl talk with phenomenal women. And the first person I thought about was Simone, simply because we have the same passions. And
Yep.
my field is empowering women. And so her field is also bringing light to body image. And so this was particularly important for me to interview, to have girl talk with Simonique. And I'll let her tell you a little bit more of what she does.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. As well, most persons would know, I call Miss Rachel Ann Riley, I call her Doc because one, that's her profession, and um, and she has worked and to accomplish that title. So I give her her due respect and I give her flowers. So I call her Doc or Dr. Rachel, right? So,
Yeah.
with regard to what I do, I am, for most of you who have already been in contact with me, and for those of you who are now joining and new, I am Candice Monique McGlaw, also known as C Monique, and I'm an image consultant and style coach. And really, what I do is really use image consultancy and personal style to educate clients or to educate individuals, both male and females. More so on the spectrum of the female side of things, but really it is a combination of both men and women. And really understanding your style characteristics, really getting into that educational factor of what are the elements that really transcend into your personal style and how that now incorporates into your respective aspects of your lifestyle, and then how we go from there in terms of enhancing and elevating in terms of knowing your body shape, your body silhouette, what are areas or what are garments that are suited to your body shape and body silhouette, and then also identifying how to create those capsules that will be best suited and be more aligned to your personal style story. So that in a
Okay.
nutshell is, yeah. So that in a nutshell is what I do. Now, a lot of persons, hello, Marsha, my darling. Nice to have you joining on. So a lot of persons will actually think that image consulting and personal styling is the same thing. And really and truly, it is really not. Image consulting is more where we is a more educational factor part of it, and personal styling is actually, so image consulting is the industry and personal styling is the service coming out of the industry, right? As
Okay.
many other services, yeah, many other services that come out of image consulting. So image consulting is the broad brand banner or umbrella where we really hone in into the individual themselves. And personal styling is if it is that you have that photo shoot, you have a wedding, you have a birthday, you have an anniversary, and you really want to glamorize and look a different way for that particular event or function. And that's where the personal styling aspect comes in as a service, and as well as personal shopping, one-on-one consulting, that sort of thing. But for me, there are a lot of fantastic personal stylists already in the industry, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. So
Yes.
I have veered more into the educational factor, and I've seen that me going in that route has really opened up a lot of persons' minds into, what is this image consulting thing? It's not that luxury, um, what should I say, that luxury type of item or that luxury type of service that, only the elites would have. That
Right.
anyone,
Because
yeah. Hmm.
when you first hear, image consulting, that would be my first question,
Yep.
what is it and what you do? And of course, you explained it beautifully, because for those of us who did not know, and I mean, I've known you for a while, but for those
Yes.
who are not aware of what it was, there you go. But how did you get into image consulting?
So how that's an interesting story. So my grandmother, Miss Yvonne Sylvia McGlaw, God rest her soul, was a dressmaker here in Trinidad.
Okay.
Because I'm part of the, yeah, I'm actually part of Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean. And from there, my grandmom used to sew, if not all, most of my clothing when I was younger, in my younger days. And then I would have also done modeling for her, modeling for another. Would I say she's a local designer? But I actually did model for a local designer called Radical Designs. That is Diane and Gary Hunt, owned by Diane and Gary Hunt, brother and sister. And then I also did. She is a staple in the industry, in the fashion and also the Miss Universe pageantry industry, which is Miss Jackie Kunhau. And I would have done some modeling for her through my grandmom, and because we
Okay.
used to connect. And my interest always started and peaked from there. That is my foundation.
I'm
And
hearing typing or background
you
noise
are?
for some reason. I was, yes,
Oh,
but that's
okay.
okay.
Yeah, that's on me. Yeah. So from there, now I can't stitch to save my life. I still ask my mother to hem my clothes and stuff like that. I'm a hot mess, but any which way. From there, I really, when I was working in the telecoms industry, which is TSCT, a lot of people would say, "Oh, Candice, you should get into styling and you should get into fashion." And I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem," because
Yeah.
when you're in corporate world, you're looking to move up. But then it actually piqued my interest, so I started doing a lot more research as to what else is there in the fashion industry, and I actually came across image consultancy. And
And that piqued
from
your interest right
and
away.
that piqued my interest right away. And then I looked at 4 institutions that provided training, as they call it, boot camp training to image consultancy and styling.
Okay.
It so there was one in New York. There was also London Image Institute, who was an affiliate of the AICI group, which is the Association of Image Consultants International, which is a big body of image consultants internationally throughout the world, right? Which they are very, very accredited. And there was one other I saw in Miami. And when I delved down deeper into the course material, London Image Institute really actually gave that full spectrum of color analysis, color theory, body shape, body silhouette, types of body,
Right.
how to actually brand as an image consultant, how to manage your business. So it really was a very in-depth course. Lynn Marks was a phenomenal teacher. And I have to thank God for her, because when I actually signed up for the course, um, not much people were signing up at that particular point in time for that roster, because she does 4 training sessions throughout the year, one in Atlanta, one in England, one in Singapore, and one in India, I think it is. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I think, yeah, India. And when I actually signed up for the Atlanta course, not much people were signing up for that particular course, but they were signing up for the
Were you
London course.
discouraged?
I was, because I had already paid my money, and I was like, oh my God, I already took my flight. What is going to happen? And I said, God, you need to work this out. And he did, because she personally called me. I sent an email. She personally called me, and she said, what would you think about doing training one-on-one? So I have been privileged to have one-on-one, and she never did it before. This was her first time doing one-on-one, face-to-face training with one student
That
in her
was
class.
that was meant to be.
That was meant to be. So I know from there, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of coursework for over a month, right? That's
Okay.
why they call it a boot camp course. And we
Right.
really dive
Very
deeper down
condensed.
into, very expansive, yeah, and condensed as well.
Okay.
So,
So I have another question for you, right?
sure.
How how does self-care bridge with a woman's sense of identity and confidence? Because we both in some way deal with a woman's self-esteem and their confidence. So what do
Mhm.
you think bridges that gap between self-care and a woman's sense of identity and confidence?
Well, that is all dependent on the individual themselves. I always speak about being intentional and intentionality. And self-care is really important, because your mind, body, and soul all have to be aligned for
Correct.
you to be able to now project and represent yourself in the right way. Image, which is that is just, as I call it, a value added service, or value add to you, the individual, because image is not only external, it's also internal as well, right? You have to fix you internally on the inside, so that it can project
On the
externally
outside.
and on the outside.
Yes.
And putting on the fancy clothing, or the clothing and everything like that, that is just the add-ons that you add, that you do to actually accentuate what is already there. So when people tell me, oh, they don't have a personal sense of style, yes, you do. You have not tapped into you as yet. That's why your authenticity can't shine. And that's why it's important to do self-care, because in self-care, you are able to deal with your mindset. You're able to deal with what is going on in your heart, what is going on in your spirit. And once all
Gems,
those, yeah,
gems. Yes.
and once those things are aligned, then the other things will flow,
I
right?
hope you guys are
So
getting these gems.
So it's really important to really know you and start being intentional about working on yourself, doing those self-care activities. If it's first thing I always tell people, prayer is most important.
Yeah,
However
of
you want
course.
to call, your supreme God, I call him God, I call him Abba Father, my Papa God. And you start off your day in prayer. You start off with meditation. You start off giving his day to him, and then from there, you start taking those steps and taking those strides to be doing something every day for you and getting you in the right place. And that
Okay.
also has to, yeah, and also has to do with your personal style, right? Understanding how your personal style works with everything else that comes with you.
And that goes along with the misconception that, you know, if you're dressed, well, the misconception that, okay, if I dress a certain way or if I overdress, I can, No one can see the inside. So I may fake the funk and I may dress to cover the hurt and the pain.
Mm-hmm.
But what can you tell someone that has had a traumatic experience? What can you tell them as far as working on from the inside out? And how does your image align with dealing with that trauma?
Okay. So that's an interesting question, and I'm not gonna, have the conventional answer as to, do motivation and have your affirmation. All that is well and good. That helps, but those things are temporary.
Correct.
Now, yeah, those things are temporary because you could be motivated and you could be all pumped at 1 minute, and then next
The problems are
tomorrow
still there.
yeah, the problems are still there. And for you to be able to be at that stage, and having surface level issues, there's a deeper rooted cause to it, and it's ready to find out what are the deep rooted issues that I am going through that are causing these symptoms and causing these effects. And that's why I hate this term. I really don't like it. Fake the funk, because you can only do so much for so long. After a while,
Right.
these things start to seep through in a lot of areas, right? You start to get stressed out. You start to just not take care of yourself. You start to just, do a whole lot of things. It manifests in different ways for different people.
So how
So
can
what?
women cultivate that body positivity? Because based on your experience, because I know you've had several clients, and in today's society, body positivity struggles in women,
Yeah.
especially because we have
Mhm.
children, we gain weight as we get older. So how can women cultivate that body positivity in this type of society that kind of promotes, that negative or narrow beauty standards?
Narrow beauty standards. I would say it's not easy to do, but ignore what society is claiming to say what is beautiful.
Yeah,
And again, you need to start again. So going back to the question before, how do you start to do those things is to do the work and actually start to ask yourself why. Why do I feel this way? What is causing me to ask yourself these respective questions? Why do I feel this way? What is the cause? Does it come from that traumatic experience that I would have had when I was a child or in my teenage years or even as an adult? Does
yeah.
that contribute to how it is how I look at myself now? How do I look down on myself? Right? And when you ask yourself why, start to journal those thoughts, because once you get it from your mind onto paper, now they become realistic to you, because now they become actionable, because from that you would now start to do actionable steps or take actionable steps to now work towards moving from that place of stagnation and that place of, oh, you don't you
Not
don't like
liking what you
yourself,
see in the
or
mirror
liking what you see in the mirror, to actually working on becoming that a better representation of you.
of
And
yourself.
then once you of yourself, and once it is that you ask yourself the questions and you journal, then you pray. You pray about it and ask God that ask God exactly what it is where it is that you want to be. What's the vision that you have for yourself? Because all of us are here to fulfill purpose. That is the ultimate destiny goal that all of us, and it's through our work and it's through our gifts, that we form that ministry and that community where we're able to now um, do the work and help others. And
Okay.
once you pray about it, then start to get persons or seek help. If it's
Seeking
through
help.
a coach, if it's
Yes.
through a mentor, if it's through your pastor or your priest, if it's
Mental health
through
professional.
a professional, seek help. We are not islands. We are not islands towards, upon ourselves, or whatever the saying is, right? We are not man to our own islands. We
And
all,
don't suffer in
especially
silence.
now, and don't suffer in silence. Exactly. We all need help some way or the other. And by getting those accountability partners, and that's why I
Yes.
said pray before getting help, because God will align you with the right persons. And that's what you need to ask for. Align yourself with the right individuals that is going to take you through that process and take you through that journey, because with everything comes work. And that's where the intentionality comes in. You have to be intentional doing the work of moving from one dimension to the next, because two things will happen. Either you want to grow and become a better you, or you
Don't
want to
stay
stay
stuck.
stagnant and or stay stuck. And nobody
Yes.
wants to stay stuck, because you have so many things to do. And you don't want to be making the same, going around the same circle all the time and doing the same test all the time, because God is going to test you. Oh, you want help? Okay. He's going to put people, the right persons in front of you, all persons in front of you. You need to have that discernment to know, okay, I'm going to call Dr. Rachel Wright because she has a story. She can help me with resilience. She can help me with that space of traumatic where single parents, etc., that will move me to that place of getting to a better place, or
And we have
whatever it
just
is. Yeah?
came into 2024, and a lot of people have not sat with themselves and decided to plan. Quarter 1, I am going to work on me. I'm just going year after year, like a hamster on a wheel, a revolving door of doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And so it's so important to have these talks with women who struggle with self-care, because again, self-care is where it starts, right? And what
Yes.
would be some of the simple self-care routines that women can incorporate into their daily lives as far as fashion and body image, do you think?
I will come back to taking simple steps into, okay, so for example, I had a client, and she was very apprehensive about using certain colors within her garments. And I just told her, I said, take it baby steps. Incorporate that certain, because doesn't like red. And we had our Christmas in church. We had our Christmas function just before Christmas, and she actually took that step to wear red, and she looked fantastic. So there are, let's say, within your wardrobe, you are very comfortable wearing a
Black.
certain black. And the thing is, black and white are not color. So that's a whole different life within itself, because everybody, oh, my black is my favorite color, or white is my favorite color. And it's only because persons think that if I wear black, one, it slims me down, or it's easy, and they're already in that comfortable space where
Right.
black is the go-to.
The go-to.
But yeah, but however, sometimes black may look ill-fitting on a specific body silhouette if you're not wearing the correct garment,
Right.
especially if you don't have proper foundational garment. But if you are that person that will only wear black, try adding a bit of color through your accessories. So you can start there. Or if you are only wearing muted tones, start by adding very subtle prints like polka dots and pinstripes and very baby, small abstract prints into those muted tones, and let those prints have, very pastel tones, so that it can go with the muted tones and not look overbearing, because you are not in that space yet to try bolder colors and bolder prints. And the thing
So it's
is,
a process.
so it is, and it is work. That's why I always come back to intentionality.
Yes.
You have to be intentional about doing something different and doing it repeatedly and repetitively so that it becomes part of you. It becomes part of routine. It's just like getting up in the morning and
Yeah.
brushing your teeth, saying your prayers, getting the children out to work,
It's cool.
preparing a report. Exactly. For example, I know I had to do this live with you tonight or this evening. I mean, and to be respectful of you and your platform and your space, I was intentional about ensuring that I am appropriately dressed for this live. And that is what you want to have that thinking about. You
Being
want to ensure,
intentional.
yeah, you want to
Okay.
ensure that you always put into practice, and then it becomes nothing. Then you start to get excited about what am I going to wear, what am I going to curate, how am I going to curate my looks to look different and to stand out, to step out and stand out, and to be present, to have that best representation of yourself, and to be powerful within your own authenticity.
I
Yeah.
think
So,
people have a little bit of an idea of what needs to be worn when. So they are mindful. So let's say a woman has to go to work every day, and of course she would dress appropriately because she knows it's my work wardrobe, and I wear a black blazer and regular outfit. But I won't wear the same thing to church, let's say. So everybody has probably an innate ability to kind of choose what to wear when. But I think the struggle comes with that self-image of not wanting to wear a certain color because it would make me feel this way, or I know I can't wear this type of dress because they may make me look, because of past trauma of body shaming, etc. So, you know, let's talk about mental and emotional well-being. And you've
yeah.
touched on it, but what role does, giving yourself that grace in self-care, especially in image and appearance?
Um, so you have to be, how should I put it? You have to not be, for us individuals, you have to not be scared of the unknown, I should say, especially where you mention a lot of persons have an innate idea of how to dress for work, but they are very apprehensive of the colors that they need to wear. That
Yeah.
is very, very, very real because they think that the corporate wear is just very, as I said, muted or very
Indeed.
um, mundane tones, which is your blacks, which is your grays, which is your navies, which is your browns. And that is not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
You can use those muted tones and mix it with other colors that will still bring a cohesive look to a corporate environment,
Environment. Yeah.
uh, wedding environment. You have to be aware of the environment that you're in. And coming back to the question of that mental state, is that again going in within you and understanding where you are in the present, and how do you see yourself later on in life, because style is ever evolving.
Yeah.
Who you
Of
are
course.
now, you're not going to be that person 5 years down the road. That means your style is going to evolve and elevate 5 years down the road. So you have to be present within you in this space, in this time. There are a lot of, most of us, we are still stuck in what we used to wear and what we used to do in our 20s and early 30s. For those of us
15.
who, yeah, and in our teens. And we
Yeah.
have not come out of that space of yet because we are afraid of, I guess, getting older. And that is where the self-care and the self-love is getting the mentality, your mental space in check, getting your heart aligned. And once it is, and with that is the spiritual aspect of it. And once your heart and your mind is aligned, then the body will follow, because all three has to be cohesive. All three have to be aligned for you to be able to go into your next level.
And
So
I love that you say, they have to be aligned because, because I am over 50. And
mhm,
so I remember in my teens what I used to wear, in my 20s, the things I could get away with, in my 30s, after children, things started to change, 40s, and now I'm in my 50s. And along the way, after having children, and there were times I didn't like my stomach area, or now that I'm 50, of course I'm not the same size I was, but I am totally confident and comfortable in my skin. Of course, there are things that I work on. I go to the gym, I work on my indiscretions. We won't say what they are, but I know that I have aged with grace, and I allow
yes,
myself to say, you know what? When you were 15, you were 15. Now that you're 50, you look fine. And it's okay to have a little this, but I know how to dress. I won't wear the stuff I wore when I was 20, but
exactly.
I dress now and I still look as graceful as ever. So for women who um, are very hard on themselves, especially those who are afraid or, can't look in the mirror, it's very important. Body image, body shaming is a thing, it's a real thing.
It
And
is.
so working from the inside out can definitely help with accepting where you are and who you are in this current space and time.
Yes, agreed. Because all of us want, we you see, it's important for us to know that we want to have a, and I would have said this before, to have, what is your vision? That vision will be different for each one of us, right?
Of course.
And how do you want to represent or be represented when you are working towards that vision, right? And um, we all want to grow, and you, to move to the next level, you have to do certain things, because remember, it's all in seasons, and you don't want to miss your season because you are too afraid to step out of your yesterday into today to get to your tomorrow.
Oh, I love it.
So
I love it. I
that
hope you
is
got
where
that one. I
and
love
and I
it.
understand that's the Holy Spirit, because I cannot remember what I just said.
I love it. Listen, the
But it's really
gems are
funny,
there. Don't
right?
worry. We can
We can
rewind, write it
rewind,
down, use the quotes.
right?
Um,
Yep.
Challenges. We talked a lot about challenges. Let's talk about some of your success stories.
My success stories with what? With the business or with clients?
With clients, with your business, either one, because you're a successful businesswoman. So we want to hear a little bit
Ah,
of your success stories. Give us one of the most memorable clients, probably, that you've ever worked with.
so one of the most memorable clients I would have worked with was one that she's based in Atlanta, and she her total everything she used to wear was, again, those really dark muted tones. If it's going to be black, navies, browns, beige, because she was in the corporate field, she was working with the US government. So I said, okay, because I was already there, I said, let's do a wardrobe closet edit. When I went into this woman's closet, there was every single color under the sun. And she would have purchased things because, one, it's reasonable, one, she liked it, one, but she had no clue of how that will look or how to combine it with other tones or other hues of color that will, complement his skin tone.
Yeah.
And for about 2 to 3 days, we did that wardrobe edit. We did style capsuling. Um, we things that no longer served her. It was about 2 suitcases filled with stuff that we sent to consignment store. I mean, most of these things still had tags on them.
That sounds like
And
my closet.
you're a different person. You're a different case all by yourself. And she started the process of really being intentional about veering away from just the mundane, those old dark hues, and embracing color. And
Okay.
let me tell you something. When she showed me pics, I was like, I felt like a proud mom, although she was much older than I am, because
Yeah.
she started experimenting on mixing prints, mixing bold prints, mixing, different color combinations. And I was like, wow.
You were
Because I
proud.
even tell her, I was like, yes, this is, and she felt amazing. And she consistently, to this day, she consistently does, make the effort to create those capsules, do those color combinations, do those what we call as layering the different, textures and
So she's
patterns
being
and
intentional.
so it's now become part of her DNA.
Nice.
She doesn't want to come out of what is cream and black and stuff again. No,
Nice.
so
Awesome.
that was one of my successes. And another success too, and this is with all my clients, is how they are able to um be, how should I put it, be free to express themselves when we have our one-on-one chats and consultants. Because a lot of persons, and that comes back to the self-care and the mental, doing that mental work, is that a lot of persons don't have that space to offload because they don't feel safe to speak to someone. And I really pride myself into creating that space, not to only speak, but to also listen and to
So
ask
they feel
pertinent
safe.
questions. Yeah, to ask pertinent question as to, okay, you don't like this, but why? And I said, drill down into that and then get into those areas that, they don't want, they too scared to speak about. And
Yeah.
when they do that, it feels like they have just released some sort of burden
A
that,
weight off their
yeah, a
shoulders.
weight off their shoulders. And now they are able to now move into that, other realm where,
Doing the
you know
work.
what, yeah, I really want to be better, um, and move into that next space and growth in my life. So I
Okay.
think that will be a success as well. And I still have a long way to go. I still have a long way to go. A lot of, and also another success was two speaking events in 2023. I Love Dream, and I also did one with Darren Arts, who's also a local designer here, with his pageantry and queen show. So I am really looking forward to 2024, what God is going to unfold, because I want to really do a lot more speaking events and, have that expand in its
You're
own.
good at it. You should. You're good at
Uh,
it.
Thank you. So we'll see how that goes, how God just works things out. So
It
yeah.
works in mysterious ways. Little by
So
little, your passion is coming through. And
mhm.
we met how many years ago? A year and a half ago during
Yep,
COVID.
yep, yep,
And
2022.
we worked
This
together
year
for
will
a
be two
bit.
years. Yep.
And
It was fun. I enjoyed myself. Those
yeah, we
yep.
have still have some of those videos.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, any final advice or tips you would give to women looking to prioritize self-care and a positive body image? Any final advice?
Um, so some things that I would say is to understand what is your personal style story characteristics, right? And by that you understand the elements that adds to your personal style. That's very important in you now enhancing and elevating your image that you want to create for yourself. And then the second thing from that is then understanding your body shape and being comfortable with the shape that you're in now. Yes, COVID did. I think she dropped off. She can come back in. Yes, you were. You probably would have gained weight. You probably would have lost weight. Oh, here's I don't know
I'm
what
back.
happened there.
I don't know. I'm back.
Yeah. So going back to, I know COVID didn't, real number on most of us. So most of
Yeah.
us would have, gained weight, or some of us would have lost weight. It's not always on one spectrum of the scale, right? Because there are persons struggling to put on weight like myself, right? And we know the things that we have to do
You can have
to
some of mine. I'll give it to
that.
you free.
If it was that easy, listen, we'd have done that a long time ago, since 2022,
Right?
right? But just start loving on you and who you are now. Because once you understand your body shape, you are able to accentuate the things that you love about your body, and you're able to camouflage the things that you don't like about your body. And
Right
that is
here.
all about, yep. And that is all about understanding the garments. You understand your body shape, you understand the
Yes.
garments that are suited to your body shape, so that you'll be able to now create and start creating and curating those looks that are
Yes.
going to now be that thing that we call in image consultancy that executive presence, so that you present yourself in the correct or you represent in the right way in the respective environments that you're in. You now have that poise, because when you dress good, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, it
Right.
inspires you to be better and to do better. And when you do that, persons will look at you and be inspired. Listen to me, there are people looking at you whether you know it or you don't.
But
Some
you
personas will
command that presence.
and you command that, because it brings that aura, it brings that, it brings that energy with it, right? And then you start honing into, okay, what are those characteristics that I want to, in my personal style, that I want to elevate? So those are a couple of things. And also one other thing too, and probably that's why you need me as a coach, putting it up plug there, is that understanding your foundational colors. Because once you and why I say foundational colors is because your foundational colors would be that basis where you're now able to now understand color theory and then use other
Right.
colors that will be complemented with your foundational colors. It's not that you can't wear any, once you have those foundation, you can't wear any other color, but it's bringing in those other hues that will now be, create those cohesive looks that will be enhancing your signature image. And that's how you dress with impact. That's how you step out and you stand out. And that's how you command, that confidence, that
Yes,
attention.
ma'am.
And that's how your confidence continues to build, because confidence is built. Confidence is not, putting on something and you feel confident. It's not,
That's
it
like
does not happen that
resilience.
way. Exactly. Exactly.
It has to be
So
built. And so I was so blessed to actually take all the gems away, because I'm going back. I'm going to play this back and I'm going to write things down, dissect it, and use some of what you said in my personal wardrobe. But let's not talk about my personal wardrobe. Lord help me. I need you here. I need you here. How can viewers connect with you?
they can connect with me via Facebook or Instagram at underscore IMC Monique, or Facebook at IMC Monique, or via LinkedIn via my name, Candice Monique Maglo. And yeah, you can connect with me through those respective platforms. I am on TikTok, but I'm not there regularly, so it
Okay.
that's just yeah. But via
Okay.
Instagram, via Facebook, and via LinkedIn.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this was an hour. I mean, we started off, it was a little rough, a little
Yeah,
challenging, but
Instagram was not letting us. I don't
it
know.
was not
So I connected. I
cooperating.
still connected via via IG, but I was kept telling people to join us live on Facebook. So hopefully that they were able to join and partake of it. If not, I know
Definitely.
Marsha was hearing a
Um,
knocking sound. So my
yes,
apologies for that. I
yes.
don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because of the earring. Sorry. I think it's because of the earring, because I was like, there's nothing knocking. So because probably
Right.
the
I
earring.
thought it might have been typing, but I couldn't figure it out.
No,
But that's okay. That's all right. God is good. We
we,
got on.
we
We
will,
did it.
yep, we will get this technology down packed one of these days.
Yes,
Technology is not
yes,
my forte.
definitely.
So,
Well, I am so
so thanks,
grateful
Marsha, for telling.
that
Yep.
you accepted the invitation to
Of
be
course.
on this platform. Um, a thought that I had became a thing, and I always follow my higher power. He
Yes.
speaks to me. And he said to me, some phenomenal women. So, let's get them out there, let's collaborate. And I am just doing what he says, So I'm really
Exactly.
thankful that you accepted. I sure learned a lot. I hope our followers did too. I am going to post on my YouTube channel. I am going to post on Instagram. And of course, all your little quotes, I am definitely going to post them and send them to you.
Thank
But
you so
thanks
much.
again.
Oh, it was wonderful, Doc. I love you to the moon and back. I thank you for having me as your first guest. And I'll be sure to tune in for your other guests. Hopefully, Instagram would
Uh,
sort it yourself. And if not, just do it on StreamYard and I could always help you with that.
I think I'm going to do StreamYard because
Yeah,
I rather be safe and get it done and instead of stressing over Instagram. That's not the
yeah,
only platform. So
that's
I'll
true.
probably reach out to you sooner or later. But thank you so
Okay.
much. Good
You're
night.
welcome.
Be blessed and peace and love.
Bye. Bye, guys.